In the past 2 months, there have been excursions to Antarctica by the universities of Oslo and Stockholm from Sweden and Norway, respectively. And what was found there in those past 2 months were strange markings in ice. These markings have now been confirmed to be human-made, and they date back to approximately 30,000 to 50,000 years. Now, I've done a lot of research on TikTok, and according to TikTok, these markings are actually a form of ancient musical notation that belong to, or at least imply the existence of an ancient civilization that once thrived in Antarctica. What we're going to do today is prove beyond the shadow of a doubt that these markings are from an ancient civilization in Antarctica. We are going to decipher the music and how that music is actually a coded message that tells the story of a civilization 50,000 years ago that thrived across the world, was destroyed by a global catastrophe, and managed to spread its knowledge around the world to create wonders such as göbekli tepe or Stonehenge. So the first step in making a Parani Panjamritam is to use the bananas. The bananas are going to be the core of the recipe. Now, usually you use those Indian bananas. We don't have them, so we're going to use regular bananas for this recipe. We're going to place the bananas here and cut them not too thinly. You'll see some recipes really say that it has to be cut thinly. In my experience, it really doesn't change much. You can just cut them approximately like this, and then you're going to proceed and bring them into the bowl. Let me just cut some more. There we go. So bring these into the bowl. Now we're going to mash the bananas together. The point of the dish really is to give it a sort of jam-like consistency. So you start by just nicely crushing it all together, bringing it into that jam-like texture. Really go for it. You want to turn it into a banana paste, basically. Alright, our paste is more or less ready. Let's mix it up some more with a spoon. Now, Panchamritam is a sort of a dish with a religious connotation, if you will. It's usually used during festivals, usually during puja in Hinduism. You want to de-seed the dates. You want to cut them and de-seed them. Obviously, you don't want the seeds in the bowl. Approximately 4 of them will suffice. And yeah, it's a dish that's usually used as prasada. So, it's usually consumed after the offerings to the gods have been made. It's used in religious festivals, as I said, usually during these religious services in Hindu temples. Now, the Panjamritam name comes from Sanskrit Panj. Panj, which just like in Persian, Panj, means 5, and basically the name denotes the fact that the food is made of 5 essential constituent parts. Now those constituent parts will obviously vary from, again, version to version. So we have the dates ready. Now we're going to put it into the bowl. This into the bowl, and then what you want to do is sort of, because the dates have this obviously tendency to glue to one another, so you just want to really separate it nicely like this, just so that it goes around the paste and it's not all coalesced into just one zone of the bowl. As much as possible. It's going to be very hard to get it completely unglued, but one may try, one may try. Alright, now that this is done, we're going to bring in our jaggery powder. Now the jaggery powder that I have is from Punjab. Again, this is supposed to be a Tamil Nadu Panjamritam, but it's still India, I suppose. Although Punjab is also in Pakistan. Is this from Pakistan? Because that's going to be, I don't want to cause any diplomatic incidents. No, it's produit de l'Inde, product of India, so we're good. No diplomatic incidents, no nuclear war. As my neighbor from Tamil Nadu always said, he said, "Do you think you have a hard life? My neighbor has the nuclear weapon And he hates me. What we want to do now is add in the jaggery powder, and really don't be afraid, be generous with it. I've seen a lot of people be sort of hesitant. They're like, oh, do we really put that much? What you want to do with jaggery is really sort of scoop it in, and you really want to generously sprinkle it. You want it to cover the whole thing. So, you know, it's some called jaggery sugar, and so they think that you just have to add a pinch of sugar. No, the point is really to cover the entire thing so it gets this brownish color. That's going to be enough. Really, you want to cover the whole area, basically. And then you want to cover the whole area the same way that the Maurya Empire almost covered the entirety of the Indian subcontinent. Almost. I don't believe that they covered the entire thing. Did the Mughals cover the entire thing? They also came close to covering the entire thing, but I'm not certain. I'm not certain about this. Those Mughals. Right. You want to add some raisins, just a little bit, not too much. Just add maybe a sprinkle, that much. There we go. Add the raisins in. We are obviously dealing with a recipe that showcases the tropical nature of India, namely South India. You know, you have the dates, you have the bananas, so it's really a nice sort of representation of it's a nice example of the kind of climate that you get there and the subsequent food that you can get out of it. The subsequent food that you can get out of it. Now, we're going to add in honey, possibly the most important part of the dish. The honey is really going to sort of bring in the incredible sweetness of the dish. I'm not going to add too much because, I don't know, for my tastes, it may be a little too sweet. Just maybe that much should suffice. Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's too much. Okay, good. And just add that in a little more. This is really not only going to add a lot of flavor to it, but it's also going to help solidify the jam-like texture, really make it into this hard paste. You can basically eat this with a fork. And our final ingredient, ghee. Now, ghee is a form of clarified butter from the Indian subcontinent. It's just pure butter, basically. Clarified, pristine. All right. Obviously, this is a very... I'm not going to eat the entire thing because I'm on diet right now. I will be going to Greece next month, and the gyro will be pretty much all I eat for 3 weeks to an entire month. So I'm not going to eat this entire thing because obviously we are talking about something that is pretty, you know, it's got its share of fat. You can't deny this. I'm just going to add in the ghee. The ghee was in the refrigerator. It should not have been, so I'm going to have to... It's not going to mix in easily. Yeah, before you cook this, just don't put the ghee in the refrigerator because it's going to be too hard and it's not going to mix in properly. And now our dish is ready. This beautiful thing, beautiful cup. No! Excellent taste. However, for my personal taste, this dish is very sweet. You know, it's this whole thing with Indian culture. A lot of things are amplified over there. The population, bigger than most countries. The drama in the movies, Bollywood or Tamilwood or Tollywood. South Indian movies are even more melodramatic than the... I personally prefer South Indian movies. They're my favorites. I love Bollywood, but South Indians are my personal favorite. It used to be that Bollywood, the Hindi speaking section of Indian cinema, used to be the dominant one. But now with Rajamouli's films, who's one of my favorite film directors, one of my biggest influences when it comes to filmmaking, the man who made Bahubali and the more recently popular RRR, he is from South India, and I believe Bahubali was the first movie to become the most popular, most best-selling film of Indian cinema, and it's from the South. So there's this interesting thing that happened where the power balance has shifted. It used to be Bollywood, the Hindi-speaking sector, as evidenced by the fact that a lot of foreigners just use Bollywood as an umbrella term to mean all of Indian cinema, even though it's only the Hindi-speaking sector from the north. But now the power has shifted to the south, to the Telugu-speaking section of Indian cinema. But yeah, like many things Indian, charmingly, it's very over, you know, so sometimes things are more dramatic, the music is more, and you know, for a lot of us, I think with a foreign palette, I certainly from my palette is mostly Western in terms of food. I have a Western sort of approach to cuisine and everything, and so it's often too spicy for me, too sweet for me. This is very, very sweet. This is an extremely sweet food. You have bananas, you have dates, you have the honey added in, you have the jaggery sugar added in. For me, the secret is you want to counterbalance that with perhaps coffee. Coffee is a good choice. Turkish coffee, for example, you can go for a sort of fusion, cultural fusion. Turkish coffee with it can really sort of counterbalance the bitterness, if you will. But let's just take a little taste, just a little bit. Delicious. It really works well as a dessert. It's really easy to make. They should look into making like panjamirtam flavored ice cream. I think there's a potential there. I think there's a business potential there. All these ingredients are probably easily accessible in any South Asian little neighborhood market that you will probably have in any town. The South Asian diaspora is obviously very big here in North America, Europe too. If you live in London, for example, then you're going to find all of this very easily. Real easy to make, really quick to make. So, you know, if you're not Indian and you want a sort of dessert for a dessert, yeah, go for it. I think it's a good choice. Jon Snow. Jon Snow. This is Jon Snow. He's the neighbor's cat. He's always coming to our house to eat. That's all he does, is eat. T'es un porc, Jon Snow. T'es un gros porc ici. Fais juste manger. C'est le gros porc. Jon Snow. Johnny boy.